Hi everyone, welcome to the Robert Show. We are here at Microsoft Ignite, and look who I have with me, Jay Parikh, Executive Vice President at Microsoft. Jay, welcome to the Robert Show. I'm super excited to chat about various things, but it's your debut, so excited to chat with you first.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Jay, I just came out of the keynote and such amazing announcements that were made today. Full jam-packed Chase Center with more than 15,000 people attending. I'm happy I got a spot near to the stage and I could hear everything very well and the others as well. But I'm wanting to learn about the keynote takeaways and what all was announced today, kind of wanting to unpack a little bit for our audience. So let's start there and then get into various directions about the announcement.
Yeah, there was a range of announcements right
Right.
today at the keynote, and then there's a whole nother set of announcements happening in the different workshops throughout
Right.
today, tomorrow. But at the high level, there's probably three areas here, which is the first part is the work that we've been doing to really bring AI and intelligence to your everyday work, right?
Right.
And we talked about today at the keynote a concept called Work IQ, and that's bringing your enterprise data, your kind of like personal, my employee kind of like knowledge, context to the work that I'm doing, and making sure that's personalized. It's also meets kind of enterprise standards, right, in terms of security and data access and observability. The
Right.
second is on the platform, the overall agent factory, kind of the application platform. We know
Yes.
in the future that the way we're going to be building software to tap into all of this potential intelligence, right? So as a little bit of just a reference point, Microsoft's been around for 50 years. If you were to be able to add up every single line of code that has been written in the last 50 years in the world, we have probably written now probably what is 1% of the software that will be written in the next 10 years. Because in order to tap into all of this potential intelligence in these models and the business knowledge that you have, you're going to have to write, we're all going to have to write a lot more software. We can unlock that creativity, that imagination.
Right.
We can solve these problems. So in our Microsoft Foundry and with components like Fabric IQ and Foundry IQ, being able to build that next generation of applications, being able to tap into that enterprise knowledge, your database, your unstructured data, then making sure that you can ground that with web data, you can bring in different agent frameworks and orchestrate different agents, but then
Right.
also making sure that it's all secure, it's all trustworthy
Very
from the
important.
start, right? And then the third pillar of the keynote was really around that enterprise readiness, right? So a lot of it's around observability, making sure
True.
you can, if we're going to have all these agents doing all this work in the enterprise, if there's going to be hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of agents in an average enterprise, well, we need to be able to observe them. We need to be able to know what they're doing. Are they on track? Are they not on track?
Right.
What access to data should they have? Should they not have? If something's going wrong, I need to be able to go debug it too and provide that
Right.
trace, that logging, that detailed information, and make sure that it works with all of my compliance, my security safeguards, my other corporate governance as
Yes.
well, right? So those are kind of the three big blocks.
I love it. Thanks for sharing these insights and the announcements as well. I'm kind of curious to know. You mentioned, I'm going to start with observability because that's also kind of very close to me. I talk to a lot of enterprise leaders, and the first thing that comes to, when they come to me and they're like, Ravit, AI is fantastic. We definitely want it to be implemented. We have it implemented. But when it comes to observability, it's a big thing that we need to take care of. And having governance, ethics, and also having responsible AI piece into the game. So, what would you suggest of it? And on those lines, I have a question around, this observability piece that you all have announced. How do you kind of, make enterprise leaders also feel more confident about the work that they're doing, because it's also multiple teams here that we're kind
That's
of
right.
talking about, and then sometimes it's also about different nations you all are dealing. So if you're in Europe, GDPR can play a very important role. If you're in some other country, other rules and regulations.
100%.
How are you kind of tackling that? And with this announcement, how is it going to make them more confident and they can be carefree where Microsoft is there for us?
Yeah, and I would say, like, 100% agree with what you said, and
Right.
it's like not a surprise that the enterprises are asking you this because they ask us the same
Same
thing.
thing.
And but it is like a critical element, right? Basically, all of this AI technology and these applications, they will stop at the front door of the enterprise if you don't have the complete thought of security, of trustworthy AI,
Totally.
responsible AI, compliance, individual kind of geo or industry specific governance.
Right.
If you don't have that in your offering from the very get-go, this stuff does not diffuse, does not get accepted, does not show up at scale
Right.
at the enterprise. There's no way they're going to deploy this stuff successfully with a high ROI inside of their enterprise for any function unless it is secure from the get-go, right? And that is our philosophy in, for example, in all of our products, but in the core AI team, which I lead, everything we do, we have the complement of, hey, if we introduce some capability, how
Right.
does it plumb through or how does it hook through to, it might be Microsoft Entra because it is about this identity for an
Right.
agent. Now we're going to introduce some new capability, and an agent or a set of agents need to access certain data. Well, it should then have governance around purview. And then, okay, I have agents and I have a set of policies around the agents performing, or from a quality perspective, hallucination or prompt injection, kind of like worries or safety. All of that is part of the build experience and part of the deploy experience and part of the operate, like visibility that you get, right?
Yep.
So it's there from the start for us in everything we do, security and trust. As you will remember in the keynote, Judson talked about two building blocks. One was intelligence, and the second one was trust.
Trust. So true. And definitely, trust comes first, and intelligence as well. 100%
I'll give him
agreed.
that feedback.
Yes.
Should be trust and intelligence.
Should be. 100%. I'm also wanting to touch a little bit on the agent piece. You all mentioned about the agent factory, and looks like the agent factory has close to 33 plus products bundled in. How does that solve the problem for those enterprises or those, even mid-sized companies nowadays wanting to deploy agents, and how fast can that be done?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so one is we want to work with every organization, right? To
Right.
understand kind of where they are in this journey of understanding this technology and deploying it.
Right.
Some are still early, and you'll want to start with maybe an agent or two or kind of a single agent system, right? And maybe a limited set of models. But then we have other customers that have lots and lots of agentic applications or workflows deployed at scale
Right.
for big mainline parts of their business. So that is part of what we need to enable in the technology, but also through partnerships with how to understand and how to diffuse or how to adopt this stuff. But for
Right.
me, listen, it's really important that for agents, we all talk about agents and they mean different things to different people. But
True.
my definition here is one is an agent uses an LLM, right? It has to do something where it's actually having to think, it's reasoning, it's planning. It's not something that is just a repetitive task. It's actually having to reason and think about different inputs, the situation, the environment, and make decisions. And those decisions may span some objective function that changes over time, but there's some variability over that. And the third most important thing to me as I talk to enterprises is there has to be a clear ROI.
100%.
All three
So
have to be true
Yeah.
for it to be an agent
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
right? And our ability to kind of demonstrate what that ROI is, understand the cost, understand kind of the business objective
Right.
that it's helping you with. Maybe it's time to process, X number of RFPs. Maybe it's the accuracy in terms of how as an agent deals with helping you obtain a certain level of compliance.
Right.
These are all things that can be measured in terms of business outcomes, right? There's a lot of other metrics that I think today in terms of using AI don't really matter in the long run. One of the ones that I find is probably the most useless out there is organizations that talk about the amount of code that's been written by AI. Like that's a meaningless and a useless and actually, frankly, a dumb metric. And we should really be focused on how this technology is changing the outcomes, right?
So true. Yeah. It is always, and you're so right about it. When we kind of think in, when I kind of, ask question to these enterprise leaders as well, they always tell me that, oh, we need to show the outcome. And when they start, obviously the implementation process, or when they start, obviously thinking about agents, they don't think about the outcome. Now they start thinking about the ROI in a completely different way, which is where, oh, this agent might write more codes for us. But is it really necessary? Is it going to change? Maybe it is, but it's not your pure metric that you would want to go after.
It's an absolutely useless metric, right? To be clear, I
So
think
true.
here's another example where I see organizations, the complement to that, a useful metric is, one organization we worked with, and they're using GitHub Copilot. They
Yep.
had a major feature kind of revamp they needed to do for their consumer application.
Right.
This was Singapore Airlines, and they scoped this project originally for 11 weeks with the help of GitHub Copilot and really using this tool to the max. They got this project done in 5 weeks, right? So
Weeks.
that was a massive time improvement to be able to bring this capability to their end users. And what was also super, super cool is they burned down their backlog. There was no backlog,
No
right?
backlog.
So even just like being able to say, hey, one of the success metrics of using this AI is what is that half-life of my backlog now? This is a metric we've never even thought of
Yeah.
before. But now if I can use AI to be like, hey, the
Massive.
half-life of my backlog used to be 6 months. Now it's 6 weeks,
Oh my
right? Or
God.
6 days.
Yeah.
Like that is a material like movement in the creative function of your organization.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you're so right. No one can think about, the backlogs being one of the metric, and which can actually be very, where you can actually be very calculated, but at the same time, you can save so much dollars and so much resources to be, in the time.
Yeah.
So that is very helpful. I'm also wanting to learn a little bit about, because y'all have been testing these, the announcements are made. I'm wanting to hear from you, how many of these are GA already?
Oh, that's a good question. Many of them are GA. So the model router, which I talked about,
Yes.
we announced that as GA today.
Nice.
We should get you the full list of things that are GA, and
GA,
then
right?
there are things that are in public preview to be able to get further feedback, right? Because so much of the technology is changing so fast, right? So for
Yeah.
us, a lot of things that we're doing in GitHub and Foundry and these Fabric, et cetera, is about working collaboratively with key partners, key customers, and to get that feedback, to get that fit and finish right
Totally.
before we agree on or call it GA, right?
Yes.
Now, some customers will wait till it's GA, and that's
Yeah.
cool, but we want to be able to share this stuff to engage with the community, with our customers, with our partners, so we can make the products better and better, right?
Love it. I think that's the best approach, getting the best feedback from the developer audience, the enterprises as well, and then,
It's hugely
obviously,
important.
it is like the continuous work in the AI. Like we've been covering AI since last 4 years, and every month, every maybe week when we are talking, there's something new that we are talking about.
Yeah.
And something that, now obviously we are in a stage where things are kind of, obviously evolving a little slower than it was earlier, right? I'm one question that I wanted to, ask around this was about the future as well. How do you see in the next 3 to 6 months? I'm not going to ask even a year. 3 to 6 months is like a safe bet.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. How do you see these products evolving? But at the same time, how is it going to help the enterprises and developers, and what should they be ready for in terms of while using these products? And obviously, how can that help them in their career and just get to the next level? So
Yeah.
multiple questions
Yeah.
actually just in one
Yeah.
question.
So I'll start off at maybe a little bit high level here, which
Yep.
is the thing that I think we all can do is to use these tools, to use these products more and more
More
every
and
day.
more.
And what I find is like there's a couple of groups out there. There's the set of people out there using these, a Copilot or
Right.
whatnot. And when they ask it a question or send it something, that they're amazed and they're like surprised and they're just like eyes wide open, being like, "Oh my gosh, this thing is so incredible! It's extraordinary."
Right.
And then there's like this other camp or other group of people where they are just like persistently frustrated that, the AI can't do what they want it to
Want to
do
do, right.
because they're overloading it with like complex tasks and they're making
True.
it do like a lot of very hard things.
Hard things, true.
So, which group are you in most of the time? Are you like amazed
Depends.
and surprised and like happy, or are you like, I wish it could do this for me. I want to be able to build this, or I want to be able to solve this problem, or I want to be able to learn this faster, and it's not helping me do that. Be curious about that. Maybe there's another model that would be better. Maybe there is, you can learn more about how to do better context engineering. Maybe you need to be able to then learn how to do fine tuning or RL on the model to be able to help
Right.
you. Or maybe there's some like multi-agent system that you can set up and orchestrate to be able to
Exactly.
solve the problem, right? So
Right.
what I find is even internally, we have these teams of people who their output, their sort of their ability to build value for our customers is so profoundly like so much higher, but it's done in such a different way because they're spending all of their time on that specification, on sort of that requirements, on that setting up the context, right?
Right.
And then being able to delegate not just to one agent, but being able to delegate to a whole team in different sets of agents.
Wow.
Right. And then the output is the code, and then the problem is solved or the application is built. And again, as we talked about in our AI-powered tools, we want to then be able to make sure that the code is reviewed, the code is tested, the code is secure, all of
Yeah.
that, not just, some IDE experience. It's the creation, the imagination, the specification, the context side of it. Code is done by all these agents. The code's the
Right.
output. But still, as an organization, I want to review it. I want to make sure it fits my standards, that it's tested well, that it's secure, that it's compliant, and that I feel good about how it's going to be deployed and then be built, right? In terms of the next few months, I think to answer that question in terms of like products, again, for us, it's really making sure we continue to kind of build out all of those critical components in the platform, right? And to bring that choice. So when we announced Agent HQ 4 weeks ago at GitHub Universe,
Right.
we talked about GitHub Copilot, but we also announced that, Claude, agent can
Yep.
be there, or Codex can be there, or others will be there over time.
Integrations at the same
So
time.
depending on what I'm doing,
Right.
I can pick the right agent, the right model. Maybe
Very
it's something
important.
that was decided by the company or my team, or maybe me
Yeah.
as an individual developer, and I further have the ability to like design and build a custom agent. So I can like specify like specific context and build a custom agent that maybe, hey, I need a custom agent to document things like a feature or a product in a certain way that fit my documentation and my corporate guidelines.
Right.
But I'm going to build that custom to me, to my organization, to my like application, right? So that flexibility, that choice is such a huge part of how we view AI-powered tools, as well as the underlying agent factory, that platform
Yes.
that all of these things are going to be built, deployed, operated on.
Love it. Jay, you shared some amazing insights and how you kind of, obviously see the next 3 to 6 months as well. It is a game changer. We can't wait to see all this. A lot of things are already where the customers are using. Some are in beta. Some developers are already trying and testing out.
Yeah, and
These,
one of the
yeah,
things
sure.
that we're really focused on in the Core AI team is, obviously we're focused on builders, we're focused on developers, we're really upping our pace of innovation, right? So when
Truly.
I look at what's happening, for example, in GitHub Copilot CLI, the command line, that team is shipping every day in the open, if not multiple times a day, right? Today.
Exactly.
So that innovation across what we're doing in GitHub Copilot, in VS Code, in Foundry, those main product areas that we have, our velocity on building with the community and getting that
Massive.
feedback is on a very steep upward trajectory right now.
Exactly. That is something we were talking off air yesterday as well, and we were just telling the team here, the PR team and the other teams as well, that what we have seen in the last 2 years, Microsoft really operates as a startup as well. I don't see this as a 50-year-old company anymore.
That's great to hear.
Like, because if that is the pace at what you all are running and what you all are innovating, I'm loving it. I'm here to cover everything. I want to hear everything what's being announced at the keynote. I want to share it with all my audience. I want to make sure they are educated. The enterprise leaders are feeling confident about what they're seeing, because it's continuous. We are seeing use cases coming out of it. You just shared something about Singapore Airlines, right? There are hundreds and thousands of customers that Microsoft has. So I want to, obviously see something like that. Even as an enterprise leader, if I kind of think, I want to work with a company that is actually quick, innovating, and is on top of their game.
Is learning fast. That's
It's
what
learning
important,
fast, right?
Yeah. So next year at Ignite, you can do the demo.
Let's do
based
it.
on something you built.
I'm all up for it.
Okay, you better start building now.
We'll do that, hopefully. Or otherwise, I'm just outside interviewing all the leaders like this. But Jay, first of all, thanks a lot
Thank
for
you.
doing this. This is, and congratulations to you and your team. Great work that you all have done in this space, and great announcements today. We'll keep the conversation going, and
Looking
we'll
forward
keep
to it.
doing this, and we'll keep seeing all the innovations that you and your team put together.
Thank you so
once
much.
again.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.